How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. First Citizens Bank enters deal with FDIC to buy Silicon Valley Bank. First Citizens Bank will take on the deposits and loans of the failed Silicon Valley Bank, the U.S. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation said on Monday. The deal includes the purchase of $72 billion in SBV assets for the discount of $16.5 billion. The FDIC will keep another $90 billion in securities and assets to sell on the open market in a process known as disposition. We look forward to building relationships with our new customers and positioning our company for continued success as we affirm our commitment to support the integrity of our nation's banking system, said First Citizens Chairman CEO Frank B. Holding in a statement today. The First Citizens Chairman and CEO said the acquisition would mean that the bank would continue to serve various startup-centric and VC clients. So this is positive because SBV did a lot of VC work, and that helps bring in new companies and business to the economy. MicroStrategy repays Silvergate loan, spends $150 million buying more Bitcoin. Software company MicroStrategy, the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, has fully repaid the $161 million outstanding balance on its $205 million loan from Silvergate Bank. By doing so, the company has ended its credit agreement with Silvergate Bank and reclaimed the 34,619 Bitcoin that is being held as collateral against the loan. This is important since the bank was going under, and that could have been used against them. MicroStrategy also disclosed that between February 16th and March 23rd, it spent $150 million acquiring 6,455 more Bitcoin. So not only did they pay off their loan, but they acquired more Bitcoin, making their position on Bitcoin even stronger. On Twitter, they said their average buy price was about $29,000 now. I think they bought all this Bitcoin for about an average of around $23,400, so they got a pretty good deal. Bitcoin Ethereum falls, CFTC sues Binance and CEO Changpeng Zhao. The leading cryptocurrency exchange by volume, Binance, and its CEO were sued Monday by the CFTC. U.S. regulators allege that Zhao and his company have violated trading and derivative rules, according to the lawsuit filed by the CFTC in the Chicago Federal Court. Zhao responded to the lawsuit's announcement by tweeting alluding to the tweet he made in January that connects the number of ignore FUD, fake news, attacks, etc. The lawsuit alleges that Binance has operated a facility for trading digital asset derivatives in the U.S. since at least July 2019, allowing residents to trade futures, swaps, and options on cryptocurrencies including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Binance also made attempts to grow its footprint in the U.S. despite claims that the exchange would prevent U.S. residents from accessing Binance's platform, the lawsuit claims. We'll get into Binance's response on this in a minute. Though Binance Zhao and other employees at the exchange knew they were required to register Binance with the CFTC, the lawsuit claims they have chosen to ignore those requirements and underestimated Binance's ineffective compliance program. The lawsuit claims they have chosen to ignore all those requirements and undermine Binance's ineffective compliance program. One of the ways that Binance determines its compliance program was by having its officers, employees, and agents assist users in having a VPN to obscure their location. The lawsuit went on to claim that Binance's reluctance to disclose the location of its executive offices is reflective of the exchange's attempt to avoid regulation. So they're throwing all sorts of accusations saying, hey, you're obscuring your location as well as the location of your users, and that goes against our laws. They responded by saying that the complaint filed by the CFTC is unexpected and disappointing as we have been working collaboratively with the CFTC for more than 2 years, a Binance spokesperson told Decrypt in an email. Nonetheless, we intend to continue to collaborate with regulations in the US and around the world. On Monday, the CFTC accused Binance of violating trading and derivatives rules, alleging that Binance operated a facility of trading digital assets in the US since July 2019, and we just went over that. We made significant investments over the past 2 years to ensure we do not have US users active on our platform, the company said. We went from approximately 100 people in our compliance team to around 750 core and supporting compliance personnel today. For example, Binance said that it has brought aboard former members of law enforcement and regulatory agencies and spent over $80 million on transactions, monitoring market surveillance, and investigating tools to support its compliance program. Binance added that it has implemented a robust 3 lines defense approach to both risk and compliance, including mandatory KYC, locking users who reside in the United States through banning US IP addresses and cellular providers, and preventing deposits and withdrawals from US banks. So Binance has taken some steps, but the CFTC seems to say, hey, you're helping users get on your platform. Kind of conflicting statements there. So over for Bitcoin, we did fall out of our wedge, but we have broken back into it. If we retest and hold, that would be a bullish sign for this pattern, and we could possibly consider dragging this a little lower, which would broaden our wedge out a little bit, but would still be a wedge. Might want to bring this down with that rounded top there. So our RSI is pointing down, stochastic's heading up, so our RSI has strength, but it might take a little bit of a breather. Money flow is heading up. Our VWAP is heading up. This is all on the 1 hour. Our momentum's heading up as well. So on the 1 hour, we're getting some signs of life. Over on the 2 hour, our momentum's about to curl. VWAP's about to break bullish. Our money flow tried to break bearish, but popped up into the bullish zone. It's kind of starting to curl, so watch out for a retest. But with that 1 hour looking how it does, this would be a possibility that we could curl away from here and move forward. Our stochastic is heading up. Our RSI is overall heading up after making a bounce on that neutral zone. It's kind of pointing down and falling, so I would be wary of that. So over on the 2 hour, we do look pretty good, with the 1 hour looking like we could ramp up. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic's falling. RSI is pointing up, making a bounce around the 40 area, so slightly above that neutral area. Momentum looks like it could set a higher low, which would set us up for a bullish divergence. And our VWAP is heading up. Money flow is heading down overall, but it's pretty much going flat over the last couple days. So that's a sign we could kind of flatten out and head back up. But we would want to see how the lower time frames carry on. So far they're going forward and upwards, which is a positive sign. Over on the daily, our money flow is very weak. Our VWAP is very weak in the bearish zone rather. Our stochastic's falling pretty hard, and our RSI is starting to slide. Our momentum's curling, so overall the daily looks pretty bearish and weak where we are. We do have a really big red candle, however that's within our wedge, so we are okay as far as our pattern goes. If we were to break under it and hold under it on the lower time frames or even the higher time frames, then that would be when you would have cause for concern and we'd have to reevaluate the pattern. Over on the daily for graph, our stochastic's falling, RSI is sliding down, our RSI is heading down, about to break bearish, so that is slightly concerning. VWAP is heading down and momentum's heading down, so overall we're pretty bearish. With that momentum cross, hopefully it kind of curls away as we make a bounce somewhat soon. And with this pattern, it is more leaning descending, so that could signal that we could break down out of it. So I'd be wary, because if Bitcoin doesn't get momentum, that's the more likely scenario. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic somewhat starting to curl, RSI is starting to curl, money flows overall coming out, VWAP starting to head up, momentum's making lower lows, but it's starting to curl, so overall we look like we could get somewhat of a bend here, as long as the lower time frames keep giving us momentum. Stochastic's heading up, money flow's trying to head up, but keeps getting rejected. Momentum's trying to head up, we have a green double green dot here, so maybe that'll give us the strength to break through. Our VWAP did finally cross bullish, so that could also help us get that strength. We have a bullish cross for our stochastic. And our RSI is somewhat, it's just barely above that neutral zone. So it's somewhat bullish. If the stochastic can keep going up and that VWAP keep going up as well as some momentum, then we could start to break up from here, and that might invalidate this pattern. Over on the 1 hour, we're trying to break bullish on money flow, but it's pretty flat and weak. VWAP's heading up pretty strongly though. Our momentum's heading up pretty strong. Stochastic's heading up pretty strong, and our RSI, let's see, right above that neutral zone slightly. So overall, we're looking pretty good, but we need that money flow to come in if we're going to sustain this these signals. Over on Anchor, we have a pretty big candle that took us down to our point of control like we've been warning about. If we manage to make a bounce off here and hold, that would be a positive sign to move back to our value area high. However, if we lose this area, it's likely we could fall down to our value area low. Money flow overall is in the bearish zone, so our trend is bearish. VWAP's falling, momentum's falling, stochastic and RSI are both falling pretty strongly. So overall, the daily is pretty bearish. Over on the 4 hour, our money flow is going lower. It rejected a cross up, and we're trending down, so we're pretty much in a descending channel, which is a ascending or a bullish pattern. So we could break up from here. This could be a bit of a slanted head and shoulders though. We have a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So that could break us down. So I'd watch out for that. Momentum's trying to head up, stochastic's falling. Our RSI is trying to curl up. But with that stochastic falling the way it is, that RSI might start to fall as well. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow wants to break bearish. Our VWAP's trying to stay bullish. So we're getting some conflicting signs. RSI is heading up, our stochastic's heading down, and our momentum's getting a double green dot. So we're trying to head up, but we have no money flow to support us, kind of like the graph. Over on the 1 hour, our money flow is trying to break bullish. If we get rejected here, then it's likely that 2 hour will start to roll over. Momentum's heading up, stochastic's heading up, RSI's heading up. Slightly above that neutral zone, so we're slightly bullish, but we need that money flow to break bullish and keep moving. VWAP's heading up, so we do have some potential here, but we need it to pick up sooner rather than later. Over on XRP, we got a pretty good candle after getting somewhat of a flagging activity, but this could be somewhat of a double top. Our stochastic and RSI are heading up. Momentum's kind of hard to read. VWAP's trying to head up, but it's very weak. Our money flow is trying to break bullish, so it's heading up. So watch out for a bullish cross. That could be a good sign. Money flow is well in the bullish territory on the 4 hour. Our stochastic's heading down. Momentum's heading down. So overall, we could take a breather. Our VWAP looks like the medium term could break bearish. So this relief rally may be over. Over on the 2 hour, we're setting up lower highs on our momentum. As price is setting up newer highs, that's a bearish divergence. Stochastic's heading down, our RSI's heading down rather, sorry. Stochastic's trying to make a bullish cross. Just bouncing off that neutral area, so that may save our RSI, but with the momentum and VWAP coming down, that is pretty concerning. Over on the 1 hour, our money flow is starting to head downwards, trending down. Momentum's heading down as well, pretty aggressively. Our RSI is pointing down, and our stochastic's trying to head up, but our VWAP is heading down. So overall, the 1 hour looks pretty bearish here. Again, I think this relief pump could be over. Over on algo, we did make a little bit of a bounce on that value area low, so that is a positive sign, but with everything else looking bearish, we may lose this area. Stochastic's heading down, RSI is heading down, money flow is heading down and starting to curl away from the neutral zone. VWAP's heading down and momentum is heading down, so overall we're looking pretty bearish here. Over on the 4 hour, our momentum's trying to make a curl. Money flow's trying to curl, our VWAP's trying to curl, stochastic might try to curl, our RSI is trying to curl, so we do have some signs that we're trying to make a little bit of a move up. We have about an hour for this candle. We could try and make a kind of a bottom signal here. like a rounding bottom, that would be a bullish sign. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow tried to break bearish but maintained being bullish and is slightly heading up. VWAP's heading up. We have a double green dot on our momentum, and our stochastic and our RSI are heading up as well. So we're looking pretty decent for a bounce here on the 2 hour. The 1 hour money flow is coming in pretty strong. VWAP's coming in pretty strong. Momentum's trying to curl pretty strongly. Stochastic's ramping up and our RSI is ramping up, just bouncing off that neutral area and breaking through it. So overall, the lower time frames are looking like we could get a run up on algo here, but it will most likely be dependent on if Bitcoin can run up. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.